Hey guys, it's face. Anyways, yeah, hey guys. So I'm not gonna do like the normal intro, like for this video. God damn it, lighting. All right, so as you can tell, yeah, this is a scuff recording. Yeah, I was planning to read one of like Aatrox's lore or something, but I decided not to, and this is a bad idea. Like this video that I'm doing right now, it's a bad idea because I literally just woke up like a few hours ago, like legit like last hour. Like the sun is not even like fully like raised up yet. It hasn't even risen fully. So yeah, it's quite early in the morning. It's a bad idea for me to film at this state because it is way too early. But hey, what can you do? You got to grind somehow. Anyway, so as a lot of you may know, a lot of things have been going down in the league community as of late. We've all heard the all the things that have been happening. Like the start of the season wasn't really good for Riot. The cinematic was shit, just to say the least. And that's putting it lightly. Like the cinematic was shit. It wasn't like up to the standards of what we expect. And the thing is that a lot of us expected a lot. However, for me personally, I've always known never put your expectations too high, to essentially to the point where you just expect them to do something massive every single year. To me, I feel like that's a little bit too much, but of course that's our thinking nowadays because Riot has been killing the game since I don't know, since it started. Like not killing the game by like, oh, the game's dying. Like I don't think the game's dying. I just think like Riot really just got off on the wrong foot on this one. So I want to give my opinions on it actually. That's the reason why I'm doing this video so abruptly. And yeah, I just kind of felt like not really motivated to do like my normal content. And I think like me doing more variety stuff nowadays, it might be a much better idea considering a lot of league content for like the past 2 3 years or so, like let's say 3 years, they have been uneventful. And I kind of feel bad for Riot on that one because the pandemic really hindered their abilities. We'll get back to that actually. Anyways, let's get back on topic and let's talk about like the start of the 2023 season for Riot. And to say the least, it's just been shit. Um, the thing is that I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like I always try to give big companies and game developers, big or small, indie or corporate. I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And the main benefit of the doubt that I have for Riot, it mainly centers around them essentially going through the pandemic because lockdown really hindered their abilities to essentially put out content for us. Yes, you can argue that the pandemic really helped them out because everyone stayed inside and it wasn't a really big deal for them as it should be because they all just work from home and so on and so forth. But the thing is that it's kind of different. It's much better for them to work on site in their normal offices and everything will just go smoothly than everything going essentially fucked at home while they're working from home, actually. And another thing is that Riot is not really primarily focused on League of Legends anymore alone. They're now doing other projects like they're doing Legends of Runeterra, they're doing Valorant, they're doing the MMO in the background, and they're also doing other shit that is outside of the gaming community, which props to Riot for doing actually, because that's gonna rake them a lot more funds than expected. Now, there's been a lot of things that have been said on Twitter and on Reddit that I feel like has already been said, in terms of like all the negativity and stuff. And I'm not really the type of person who would be as negative as they would. I always have the approach of it's better to like some things than hate it, because it's a lot more fun that way. And I really do hope that a lot more people really get that mentality, because it really does make the difference on how your mindset could be. Now, in terms of what we know from Riot, they did put out a tweet. They apologized about like what the cinematic had done to the community. Like, we essentially kind of felt like we were essentially screwed over. In a way, like we set our expectations to essentially like the highest point that it could go for like personal standards, and yeah, Riot just didn't meet that expectations, and they gave us like a cinematic that was looking like a budget, graphics on an Unreal game engine for like a cheap MMORPG, as you could say, because it looks cheap in comparison to like the other cinematics, of course. And it's also been confirmed that this year 2023 would be the biggest in budget that the League team would get so far. And yeah, seeing the cinematic, you would not really know that. But however, the thing is that obviously they said in the tweet that they wanted to make a different approach to the to the season, and it just didn't really come off that way. There has been also other tweets from big creators like Dinka or Tenebrix, 2B Sky, and Necrit, and other pros, casters, streamers, YouTubers, you name them. They commented on that tweet and on the cinematic tweet, and it's been a mixed bag. It's been a mixed bag, but it's primarily taking a shot. It's taking a shot at Riot to say the most. At least that's the majority. However, I would like to give my own opinions on this, which I'm already am. Sorry if I'm looping or rambling around so much. That's just how I get my points across most of the time. That's just how I speak in terms of these types of topics. But to me personally, I still have faith in Riot. A lot of people lost faith in Riot after the cinematic dropped and after the tweet dropped of them apologizing. Of course, it's valid for them. Like, that's their own opinions, that's their own feelings. However, for me personally, considering how big League of Legends is, and considering how big Riot Games is, and considering like how much they're growing still, I wouldn't say the game is gonna die. I just feel like they just got off on the wrong foot, and maybe later down the line this year they're gonna improve. And that leads me to this: like, it's still very early. Like, it's not even past January. It's like it's like barely mid-January, and a lot of people are already jumping the gun, saying like Riot really doesn't care about us. I wouldn't say so. I just feel like they're not really having their priorities straight. And the thing is, I don't blame the writers. I don't blame the developers or anything. I don't blame the teams that are working on the games. However, my issue lies on the executives, the higher ups, basically, because they kind of feel like they're not really. They kind of feel like they're not really gaining a lot of, funds or more money, because that's what people want. They want money. That's what the higher ups want. They want the ones that get the most money. But the thing is that they, with that mindset, they kind of feel like whatever other content that they put out, like let's say something in relation to a lore or the new game modes and stuff, or a big casual like event, right? They kind of feel like they don't gain anything from it. But the thing is that they gain so much from it, because the casual player base is a lot bigger than the competitive player base. That's the main takeaway from this. And I feel like maybe after all of this, they would get their priorities straight. However, that's obviously up to the executives themselves, if they actually do want to do it. And I really do pray. I really do pray. I still have faith in the rioters themselves, but I don't have faith in the executive all that much. And there's this other situation where a lot of people were going after the writers themselves that worked on like the big projects and stuff, and they worked so hard on this cinematic, even though they say, "Oh, this didn't require so much effort in comparison to blah 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 blah. This is a cheap budget. How did they do this shit? How, like they say they put so much effort into this, and they gave a shit product and stuff to start the season. Like it's shit. Riot doesn't care about us." But the thing is that well, you can make that argument, right? But the thing is, for me personally, I don't think that's really how it goes. I just felt like they really did try something different. They really did try something different, and it just didn't work out. And now they know that it won't work out the next time around. And if you look at the cinematic, obviously it has a massive dislike ratio. Like I think it's like over 60 or at least like over 75% dislike to likes. And that's expected considering like how poorly received it is, and what we expected. And the thing is that there are, you can make arguments again, but for me personally, I don't really like to hate. I like to criticize, but I don't like to hate. Now going back, the thing is, overall, I think the pandemic really did hit Riot and their parent company Tencent a lot harder than we expected, because they ended up losing a lot more staff, especially over at Tencent, considering where they're located, which is in China. And the situation in China is not really looking good. Essentially throughout the entire pandemic, even this year, where a lot of the other nations around the world are getting into herd immunity and getting the pandemic under control, and where it's like essentially back to normal now. However, considering a lot of the logistical hindrance that the pandemic really did, I feel like most of my benefit of the doubt feelings or expressions essentially just comes from that, because a lot of things have been hindered at Riot themselves in terms of their offices, their teams, their logistics, and their manpower and their resources. They couldn't really get anything together at the speed or at the standards as that they would like if they were actually working in their normal offices. And I wouldn't really be surprised if they are still trying to recover from the pandemic, because they already have so much projects. They have their staff just working on other projects. They're like spread thin, but they're still short on staff. I wouldn't be surprised if they are still at that stage, because it is possible. It's possible. Like that's a possible argument. Another thing is that a lot of content creators are quitting League of Legends now, and they're either quitting League of Legends. They're either quitting League, or they're doing a lot more variety. And considering like how much League has been hindered over the past 3 years, I'm counting this year, so that's 3 years instead of two. Considering how much has been hindered, I am planning to do a lot more variety, for the sake of my channel, for the sake of everything, really. League doesn't seem to be in the best spots. However, I do have confidence that it'll bounce back. I still have that confidence. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. What I'm gonna say. I am expecting a lot of hate comments from this video.